It's been way too long since I posted an update, and I'm sorry about that. There's also been confusion about the new formatting requirements on the board, which I've cleared up. So these next few stories are going to be posted in a different way. They'll be in chronological order, and I'll do my best to tie them into each other as much as I can, so it doesn't skip around too much. When I first started out as a rookie, no one had told me a lot about the job in terms of the weird things that could happen. I'm assuming this was largely to prevent me from freaking out and abandoning the park. But a few months into my service, when I was still a rookie, a friend and I were drunk at a party, and he opened up a bit. Yeah, it can get a little crazy out here, I guess. I think the worst are the ones where people die and they shouldn't. You know? When we find them like 10 minutes after someone says they saw them alive last. They were fine when I passed them on the switchback, I swear. That sort of shit. Like, take this guy who I found one spring out on a really popular trail. Someone comes into WC, freaking out about some guy who's lying in the middle of the path in this giant pool of blood. So we run out there. We find this guy dead as a doornail, which he absolutely should be, because the back of his head is like mashed potatoes. The skull is decimated. Brains are leaking out like custard filling. And the guy's so old. So you figure, yeah, he probably fell and hit his head. Old people fall all the time. It's no big deal. Except that this area where he fell doesn't have any big rocks. There's not even any stumps or big branches. And on top of that, there's no blood trail. So he clearly died where you dropped. Now that's when you turn to murder. But there were people just out of line of sight with the guy. If someone came up behind him and murdered him, there's no way people wouldn't have heard. And again, if someone had, there'd be a blood trail. Spatter all over the place. But everyone on the scene said it looked exactly like he had fallen and smashed his head on a rock. So what the fuck did he hit his head on? And then there was this weird lady I found in a different park about 5 years ago, back when I was upstate. We found her in the middle of a stand of big junipers, curled around the trunk like she was hugging it. We pick her up and move her, and a fucking waterfall comes out of her mouth. Splashes all over my shoes. Her clothes are dry. Her hair is dry. But the amount of water in her lungs and stomach was phenomenal. Coroner's report says the cause of death was, now listen to this, drowning. Her lungs were completely filled with water. This even though we're in the middle of the high desert, and there isn't a body of water for miles. No puddles, no nothing. No signs of anyone else being out here. I mean, yeah, it's possible they were murdered. But why go out of your way to do something like that? Why not just stab them and be done with it? Oh no. That just sits weird with me. Now, of course, that freaked me out a little. But we were both wasted. And I guess I sorta wrote it off as a fluke. I also assumed there was exaggeration there. Since, we're wasted. Now, I don't like talking about this next case pretty much. It was an awful one that I've done my best to forget about. But of course, that's easier said than done. This happened about 6 months after the conversation with my friend at the bar. And up until that point, I hadn't had a lot of really weird shit go down. A few things here and there. And of course, the stairs. And it's amazingly easy to get used to stuff like that when it's treated as normal. This case was a little different. A guy with Down syndrome in his 20s after his family lost sight of him on a major path. That was odd in of itself, because this guy never left his mom's side. She was absolutely convinced he had been kidnapped, and unfortunately a ranger who isn't with the park anymore insinuated that no one was going to kidnap someone with that kind of disability. Not very tactful, to say the least. No wonder we got rid of him. We wasted a lot of time trying to calm her down enough to get information about him. Then we put out an official missing persons call. Because of the urgency of the situation, him being mostly unable to function alone, he had local police come in and help us. We didn't find him the first night, which was heartbreaking. None of us wanted to think of him being alone out there. We assumed he had just kept wandering and was staying ahead of us. We brought out helis the next day, and they spotted him in a little canyon. I helped him bring him back up, but he was in bad shape. I think we all knew he wasn't gonna make it. He had fallen and broken his spine, and couldn't feel his lower half. He had also broken both his legs, one at the femur, and he had lost a lot of blood. He was confused and scared while he was alone, so he had probably made the injuries worse by dragging himself a little ways. I know it sounds awful, but while I was riding in the copter with him, I asked him why he had wandered off. I just wanted something to tell his mother, to let her know it wasn't her fault, because he was fading fast, and I didn't think she would get to ask him herself. He was crying. He said something about how the little sad boy had wanted to come and play. He said the little boy wanted to trade so he could go home. Then he closed his eyes, and when he woke up again, he was in the canyon. I'm not sure that's exactly what he said, but it was what I thought the gist of it was. He kept crying, asking where his mom was, and I held his hand and tried my best to keep him calm. It was cold out there, kept saying. It was cold out there. My leg was frozen. It was cold out there. Cold in me. He was getting weaker. So he eventually stopped talking. And he closed his eyes for a while. Then, when we were about 5 minutes away from the hospital, he looked right at me, with these big tears running down his face, and he muttered, "Mom won't see me again. She won't see me no more. I love my mama. I wish she was here." And he closed his eyes, and he just never woke up. It was horrible, and I don't like talking about it. That case was one of the first ones that really rattled me badly. Because of how badly it affected me, I reached out to a senior ranger who ended up helping me through it. As time went on and we got to know each other better, he ended up sharing one of his own stories with me. It was disturbing, but it helped to know that I wasn't the only one affected by things going out here. I think this happened before you got here. Because I think if it happened while you were here, you would have remembered it. I know it didn't end up in the news for some reason. I think most people who have been here long enough know about it. The park sold off a portion of the land to a logging company, and it was a really controversial thing to do. But it wasn't a large plot of land or something. And it was right after the recession, so he had the cash bad. Anyway, they're felling this plot of land, and we got a call that we need to get our supervisors out right away. I don't know why, but they ended up sending me and a few other guys along with the heads. I guess for power in numbers, to see what was up. We got there, and all these guys are crowded around the tree that they had just cut. They're all pissed off and freaking out. And the foreman comes over and says he wants to know what we think we're up to. What the hell y'all think this is? Some kind of sick joke? You got a lot of fucking nerve pulling this shit. They bought this land fair and square. Well, we don't know what the hell he's talking about. So he brings us over to this fell tree and points at it and tells us that when they cut it down, it was just like this. And they'll be damned if they put it there. The inside of the tree was all rotted and hollow in one spot. And when they cut it down, it had that exposed chamber. And inside it was a hand. Like a perfectly severed hand. And it looks like it's actually fused with the inside of the tree. Oh, now we think they're pulling a joke. So we tell them we don't like being fucked with, and we start to leave. But they tell us they've already called the cops, and they'll go right to the media if we don't stick around. And that gets the head's attention, so they stick around and talk to the police about it. Everyone's denying that they put the hand there. And besides, how would anyone would have done it? It's clearly a real hand, but it's not mummified or skeletal. It's brand new, so probably not even a day old. And it's definitely fused with the wood. You can see that it's coming right out of it. The loggers insist that they didn't put it there. Somehow this fresh human hand ended up fusing to the inside of this living tree. The police have them cut up the section of the tree into movable chunks. Then they take the hand away, and the area is closed off. It was a pretty big investigation, but I know they didn't find any answers. Now it's become this legend. And as far as I know, they haven't sold any more land for logging. As you all know, I went to a training seminar recently and heard some amazing and horrible things there. One of the guys I talked to while I was there told me a story when we were all around the campfire one night. We were both pretty drunk. You'll see a pattern here. And we're swapping stories. He told me this one. So me and another guy were out on a field search because some campers reported some screaming at night. So we head out there to look for whatever fucking mountain lion has wandered into the area. And I'm pissed. We had 3 of them show up in the camping area that year alone. And I'm getting tired as hell of constantly having to deal with them. Plus, I just don't like them anyway. They're a pain in the ass and they're loud as hell. And they scare the shit out of me. Fucking cats. I'm groaning about it to this guy. And he thinks I'm a real fucking riot. We're seeing all these broken branches and what looks like a den. I'm pretty sure where you know this thing is. I call in and they tell me to confirm if possible. Which just means they want you to step into a big pile of shit and use it as proof. I'm not seeing any though. So I basically tell them to shove it. I'm done. We know that damn thing's out here, somewhere. Even if I'm not stepping in its shit or inside its mouth or whatever. The guy I'm with wanders off to take a piss or whatever. I stay behind, watching this little burrow under a tree to see if it's a fox or something. Mainly because I like foxes. They're cute as all. Anyway, I'm watching this tree, and I start hearing branches cracking. And it's coming from the direction my partner went opposite of. I've got my pistol, but you and I know that's not gonna do shit against a cat. I cock it, and holler for my partner to get his dumbass back. But he's too far away, and he can't hear me. I stand up and get my sights on where this thing is coming from. And I shit you not, man, I just about pissed myself. This guy is coming towards me, and he's fuck. He's backflipping to the fucking woods. Like, instead of walking, he's doing these crazy fucking backflips. Swear to God, he cleared every fucking log and bush in its way. It was like he knew right where he was going. I yell at this guy to stop right where he is. I am pointing a gun right at him, but he keeps coming. I just kinda lost it. I shot at the ground in front of him, and what a dumb fucking thing to do. But I didn't want this guy anywhere near me. When I fired, he was about 50 yards away from me. And as soon as the gun goes off, he whirls around and goes off backflipping through the woods. My partner hears my gun go off and runs and asks what's up. Tell him there's some fucking weirdo out here, hopped up on God knows what, and we need to get the hell out of Dodge. I let the cops know what happened, and I didn't get in trouble for firing, so that's good. But man, I don't know what that motherfucker was on, but I've never seen anything like that before. It was absolutely butt-fuck crazy. I think we can all agree there's stuff going on out here in the woods. And while I'm not going to spout off about what it could be, or offer any theories, what I want people to take away from all of this is that it's so important to be safe when you're out here. I know a lot of you think you're invincible, but the fact is that you can die out here, or be hurt, or go missing. And it's easier than you would ever imagine. I apologize for this relatively short update. I will do my best to continue this series as soon as possible. Thanks for all your continuing support. It really means the world to me.